this is going to be my review of Rambo First Blood. I have to say, Rambo First Blood Part 1, I guess, well, because there's a Part 2. I didn't really like. It was like, I just didn't care for Rambo because he was such a bad character. Like, at first I was so frustrated because, like, Rambo got arrested for no reason. But then he just started to go in a whole rampage mode, and I get, like, the insinuations that he's having PTSD about being in Vietnam. But then it just continued and continued. And then he did stuff that I just realized a villain would do. And so having a character that just felt, to me, so villainous, I couldn't really root for him. And because I don't think there was any story for the most part. Like, okay, he has these flashbacks about Vietnam, but that was really it about the story of the film or whatever. And then you have like these chases, and I mean the sequences are fine and they're good and whatever. But like the whole middle is very slow. It's just him wandering around woods, and this film is short. Yeah, it's only an hour and 26 minutes. Yeah, but I mean, there's just something about it, a quality to it that I didn't really get. And I think like the best moments were honestly for me when the military sergeant was talking to the police and hashing out their different ideologies of what to do with John Rambo. That to me, oddly enough, was the strongest part about this film. Not the action, not the character of John Rambo, not even the lines like oh, you they drew first blood. I mean, I guess it's iconic, but you know what? Just the story was not there. There was no real story, and I like action films, but I love action films, but I like action films with stories. And you're saying, but you love Mad Max Fury Road. There was no story there. Well, there kind of was. I think you get that general insinuation of you're trying to transport these people over. There was something special about Mad Max Fury Road, whether it be the location and the sets and the just great practical effects and the editing and just from a practical standpoint, visual standpoint, and there was a story there about trying to get these people to a certain area in an apocalyptic world and free all those people. But here it was just like, okay, John Rambo's having PTSD. He's on the run. It's like a fugitive film, but like there's no reason. It was just very weird. Where it's like, what is this film trying to be? Is it trying to be just like an 80s action film? Is it trying to be like a fugitive type, like police is chasing you film? Is it trying to be like a drama between like a Rambo struggling in the woods and with military people and cops? And is it trying? Because I think the thing is like you're supposed to care for John Rambo, and at first you do. You're like, why is he getting arrested for no reason? But yeah. But I mean, what he did at the beginning, he shouldn't get arrested. But I mean, it was, I guess, kind of like a bad move on his part. I mean, it was like a kind of annoying thing. But then he started just going a killing rampage. Oh, you drew first blood and whatever. But in court, you could have easily pleaded otherwise. There was no real, genuine reason to continue with this mess that you ensued. And I don't know, there's something about just the story or the lack of story. You know what I mean? Because it's not like it was even action heavy. Because I think if you're not going to have story, at least have great action. But the action was okay. There's like this 10-minute sequence at the beginning where he's escaping prison and there's a chase through the city. And whatever. Okay. But then he's just in the woods and he kills a few people in the woods, but he's just stuck in the woods. Oh yeah, just stuck. And there's like he's traveling through caves, and it was just very odd. But also a film that I think with today's modern storytelling, for me, and I think like it would be an unpopular opinion, and again, just for me, in my opinion, I would say that this film, I feel like I could see growing up in the 80s wanting to like be Rambo. But I think for me, again, I couldn't have that connection to Rambo. You just can't. Because I think a connection to Rambo at any level is distant. Because what he's doing is clearly wrong. Yes, a cop can arrest you for reasons that a cop can arrest you for reasons that shouldn't be arrestable. Like, that's not an arrestable offense. You know, what John Rambo did of walking back after the cop drove him out of the city. Or out of the town, whatever. Yes, that's not an arrestable defense. And that's, you shouldn't retaliate that. Like, the way he was in prison, like, retaliating. And it was just, like, you couldn't root for him because, yes. And they try to use this, like, him still have... They used Rambo having PTSD about being in the Vietnam War as an excuse for all his crimes. But, like, okay, yes, they drew first blood. But at the same time, okay, they got arrested, but they really start to go at you because you were like they wanted to take your fingerprint. You were going against him. You started to punch all. It was just like he just made it hard to be a relatable character, and because he's really the only good guy in this entire film, you can't really root for him because you can't have a film where your good guy attacks cops, and it's not like these cops were like just like all of a sudden arrested Rambo and then started to beat him up. No, but these cops were being extremely brutal and whatnot. But I just think the excessive nature of, okay, you just do what he's saying, because I think do what the cops say, go to court, and just the way it was done, because you can do films where cops are mean and brutal and be, heinous and awful. But like even in the last act, when they're fighting in the street, they literally flat out make Rambo the villain. You know what I mean? Where they like antagonize this guy, and I think it was just for me. I'm okay if you don't have a. You see, I don't care if you have a villain or a hero in your films. I don't care. But, like, the first act, they're making him a hero. Second act, they're making him a hero. Third act, they're not making him a villain. But for me, the whole film, like, the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, I feel bad for Rambo. He's getting arrested. Oh, man, that's not an arrestable crime. And then he just acts like a total jerk in prison. Where it's like, okay, you get arrested, you might be pissed, you might be mad, you might say that you didn't do anything wrong. Okay, you still have your court case, you can plead them wrong there, not yada, yada, yada. But you don't have to take it to an extreme. Okay, you escape prison, okay. But now suddenly, because you escape prison, and you've injured a cop, that's already a defense to get arrested. Good cop, bad, you know what I mean? Good cop or bad cop. And it was just like, they just shaped it in such a weird way where it was like, okay. And it was just a slow-moving film with only, again, one character throughout the majority of the film. Yes, you have the stuff with the military guy and the cop. And that was actually pretty fascinating to see how we're going to handle this John Rambo guy and his, strong military tactics and whatever. But when it's just Rambo, I didn't care because as a character, Rambo was so distant from me because he didn't really talk. All you see of him is just, feeling so angry. And I don't know, he was just... This film, I could see how some people like it in the 80s and just love it because of their childhood memory. But for me, again, looking back in retrospect, I'm like, do I really love this film? And I'm like, I don't even like this film really for the most part. But, there's some good qualities. And the action sequences are good. But, like, they're far and few between. Where it's like the final action sequence I didn't really enjoy. Because it was just like Rambo being an idiot. And being mean. You know what I mean? And like, I want my revenge. And it's like, it was just like, okay, two wrongs don't make a right, Rambo. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I didn't really like the film too much. Stay tuned for more videos coming at you.